Good day, loves. We are live on Instagram, YouTube. Facebook is just about live. It's still trying on Facebook. So, good day. Welcome back.
But dang, I want to give Facebook
an opportunity
to
do its thing. Well, in the meantime,
hello everyone. Welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. This is episode 34, y'all. Very excited, very exciting stuff. I'm Coach Soul. It's my lovely wife, Coach Tensi, to my right. And we are Ufulu Child.
We are also holistic health coaches. And I specialize in nutrition, cleansing, fasting, herbalism, intentional movement in the body, certified kinetic yoga instructor, ancient African yoga. And we're both certified Reiki healers. But what we cover in this podcast every day of the week is we highlight a different aspect of our 5-prong healing system. And one of the cool things about the healing system is that it just focuses on a few things that we can do every day. It's just five things that we can do every day in order to continue to bring health and wholeness and fulfillment and freedom into our lives. So,
and today we're talking about just that, doing things that provide your body, your mind, your spirit with holistic health. And it's called Action Over Apathy. Apathy is basically laziness. Building discipline beyond instant gratification. So it's very easy to be disciplined when instant gratification is involved, right? Do this and you'll get your favorite snack. You know, it's something that a bunch of children hear, and it's like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna put off what I want to do, which is play right now. Do this thing that mom or dad said to do, and then I'll instantly get gratified for doing that. It's not so easy to be disciplined when you don't know when the gratification is coming or if any gratification is coming. And usually the trap that we fall into in that regard is waiting for motivation.
Or a good feeling in general too. Yeah.
And in waiting for motivation, we develop a trap. It's like we trap ourselves because motivation is not something that comes when you're looking for it. It's something that comes when you start doing stuff, doing the thing that you're doing. When you start to see either a positive result, let's say, you're trying to be motivated to work out more. When you start to see gains, when you start to see tone return to your body or come to your body for the first time, when you start to see the weight difference, the before and after pictures are getting better and better. When you're seeing those things, then that will motivate you to keep going. But in the awkward, in the middle stages where you're not seeing results and you're not seeing gains and you're not seeing momentum in the direction of like your body is ending up where you want your body to end up, then there's definitely a difficulty, you could say, in being motivated just because, and feeling that good, that euphoric feeling of motivation to get started versus just feeling like I'm going to do this because I have to build discipline, right? Or I'm building discipline because I have a goal and I'm not going to stop until my goal is reached, right? That's hard to come by. So that's what we're talking about today. In the previous Move episodes, we talked about workout strategies, working out, syncing your cycle to different workouts and things like that. Today, we're going to talk about how to show up regardless of the internal environment's lack of motivation.
Yes.
Oh, and with a lack of instant gratification.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So we're coming from our thrive zones now. And the thrive zone is where we bring together these three worlds. The three worlds are everything that you love, everything that when you think of it, it's like a yes inside. It feels like it brings fulfillment, it brings joy, it brings like it's stuff that you love to do, right? Oftentimes we get stuck in that realm when we think of things to do in our free time. We might go into just the stuff that we love, but that stuff that we love may not be um, met up with these other two worlds. So it might look like mindless pleasure. So we bring what we love together with what we need. And what we need, that second world of three, is everything that is what we know we need to do, right? So we know that in order to bring balance within our minds, our hearts, and our bodies, we need to heat our cycles for women. We need to cycle sync. We need to eat things that empower our bodies when they're needed to be empowered by that particular food or that or limiting the unhealthy content that we take in. We need to consume things that are healing, or maybe we need to fast, but at certain times. So it's what we need to do. And this could also be in different aspects of life. I need to have this conversation, this hard conversation about um, what's needed in order to support my health journey with my family could be a piece of need, right? So, what we love and what we need, two worlds coming together with a third, which is what we're ready for, what our spirit is calling us to, the nudgings. And here I lean into astrology and numerology a lot. Whatever works for you, I lean into them because they help me find patterns in what my spirit is saying. Everyone has like a different way of connecting with the divine, with God, with the creator energy, with their gut feeling, with their intuition, whatever words you're not allergic to. I heard that phrase being said. Insert whatever word you're not allergic to. Okay, but it's that higher clarity
And stop being
and
allergic to
discernment.
words.
And stop being allergic to words. We'll get to that. But yeah, that's real. So bring it all together: love, need, and what your spirit is calling you to or what you're ready for right now. That place where they meet, that's your thrive zone. That's where we need to start taking action from. So, in order to build momentum, we must take immediate action. That's one of the biggest, juiciest benefits from it. We start to gain the traction and start to like continue to move forward. It becomes a habit. We're consistent. We build that confidence. We build the self-trust. We can begin to trust ourselves and have that self-efficacy. And we're also able to like reflect and tweak and fix along the way instead of just putting out fires as soon as there's a crisis. Oh my God, I gotta take care of this now. And this is when I'm taking action, is because my body's in a crisis. It could be a health thing, or my finances are in a crisis. It could be like everything crashed down, your credit's crap, or it could be like my relationships are in a crisis, like your version on separation, like all of the things could be in some level of crisis. And that's the worst time that we want to begin to start taking action. Of course, we need to take action.
Well,
But
it's the worst time also that we want to become still and stop showing up and stop working on the goals that we're working on.
that part.
Because there's a saying that I often come back to. I think I've already said it on this podcast at least once. But when you're going through hell, go through it. When you're going through hell, don't stop in the middle and wallow in the fact that you're going through hell. Go through it. Get out of it by achieving the achievement, finishing the task, getting across the finish line. This uh, momentum that you're building is so that you don't stop in hell. right? The inertia that's behind you is so that you don't stop in hell. So one of the other big benefits of moving and taking immediate action is building self-efficacy, which is basically building your confidence in your capacity to do certain specific performances, right? Or performance attainments, as it defined it when I looked it up earlier. Specific performance attainments. But it's building self-confidence and uh, knowledge of self in the direction of your capacity to get certain tasks or to become a certain level of discipline within yourself. And one of the ways that I learned, you could say, to keep going was in my lowest moment when I became suicidal and wanted to leave this place. The voice that I heard, the spiritual experience that I had, was in the form of a voice, and the voice that I heard basically said, "One more day," and that turned into a bit of a personal philosophy where you make every day count, sort of thing, and
Yes.
built self-efficacy to be able to show up even in dark moments and go through hell and not sit in it.
That's very powerful. For me, it's how it showed up in my life is like I noticed that I was just constantly looking to someone else to give me permission and tell me what to do. Please just tell me what to do. Tell me what my next natural step is. Tell me, just give me the project and I'll do it. Constantly wanting to follow someone else's orders. And that's part of, when you get into studying the brain, that's part of like a right brain imbalance. It's almost like not just being fearful of leading myself, of taking ownership over my own actions. And that was a need for me to build up the sacred masculine aspect of myself. And everyone, everything, every sentient being, everything that is created in this universe has both sacred masculine and sacred feminine energy that needs to find balance. Sacred feminine energy tends to be like the inward, uh, the the endless possibilities are expressed in that, and the imagination and all of that. And the sacred masculine is the outward expression, like the taking action, cultivating the discipline, coming into order. Sacred feminine is at its best. It's harmony. It's aligned with the sacred masculine, so they work hand in hand. And I found that sometimes when I set a goal and it was something as simple as anything that took more than one action step, right? Anything that took more than action step, and that could be as simple as make lunch, make lunch for the day. So
Which we're going
first,
to have to do soon.
yeah. So that's a project because it's more than one action step. So one of the most practical things that I found that I could do was break this down into considering, okay, what is my next natural action? What's the next natural step that I can take? Identifying the next natural step breaks down the big project into a manageable task. You're going to have to figure out what the next thing to do is either way. And instead of overwhelming ourselves and trying to map out the entire thing right now, you can just hone back in on your why. Why am I doing this? What is the outcome I want to achieve? And then what is the next natural step that will get me closer to that?
Right. And then take immediate action.
Yes. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do the whole thing now. Finish it to completion. That's the challenge.
And if it takes a couple days, then do today's fair share.
Yeah.
There's a difference between discipline and consistency. Discipline and motivation. Discipline is consistency. There's a difference between discipline and motivation,
Mm.
which is an important thing to bring up here. Uh, Discipline, as just stated, is consistency, right? Consistent effort, consistent action, consistent showing up, if you will. Most jobs that I've worked at had a one no call no show allowed. And by allowed me that means like now you're on a sort of automatically enacted or automatic, effective immediately probationary period, where if you do anything like that again, you show up 15, 30 minutes late unannounced or anything like that, then you're on grounds for termination off one no call no show. Why is that? Because they value the consistent effort more than they value the um, when you're motivated and waiting on motivation. Motivation, on the other hand, is an emotional experience. You
Mhm.
do feel it in your body, but it doesn't mean it's not an emotional experience. Your body is processing the emotion, and your hormones are reacting to your mind processing said emotion, and you can feel motivation in your body, but that doesn't mean it's a physical experience, and it's not a naturally occurring whenever you need to do something experience, right? It's a fleeting feeling,
Mhm.
and it's useful. So when it's there,
Yes.
definitely put it to good use.
Use it.
But like I said, we trap ourselves in waiting for motivation a lot, and in knowing the difference between motivation and discipline, being willing to admit that I have to cultivate more discipline in
Mm.
myself, and then acting on that by taking immediate consistent action, is the way to go.
Yeah. So, how do we cultivate discipline? There are a few strategies that we can utilize, and one of the first ones is creating routines and habits. So, you got to systemize it somehow. You got to put it into your daily life. So, that means you may need to put it on your calendar and have automatic reminders for yourself, whether that's a sticky note or a tickler file if you're old school and you don't get down with any technology, or if you do want to get out of the analog and into the digital world somewhat, then that might look like phone reminders or task reminders in your digital calendar, phone alarms even. And so we do this so that we are it's convenient now. We don't have to think about it because our minds are likely already overloaded with all the things we're not doing. So in order to take consistent action and really cultivate that discipline, we're creating the routine around it, thinking through how can I make this what's accessible to me right now that I can do right now to get closer to my goal. Second, setting boundaries and limits for ourselves. Oftentimes, we think of setting boundaries with other people, but the biggest boundaries to set are with ourselves. Like back in a previous episode, you were talking about building resilience. Resilience is saying
Hmm.
no to yourself,
Yes.
and that's when you're going outside of the boundary of what's needed, what your spirit is calling you to, and what you'd love to do. That's outside. When you're just doing things because um, you just want to do it, and there's no value for your health or your life any other way other than you just want to do it. No, like you got to set a boundary for yourself. There's parameters you got to stick to, and there's like a little mental checklist that you can kind of run down. Is this aligned with my purpose? Is this aligned with my principles? If it's not, then it's a no. It's got to be a hard cutoff. No. Setting those boundaries. And the third thing, so we talk about creating routines and habits, setting boundaries and limits. That could be like for like app alarms, app timers on your phone, like a bedtime mode on your phone, sleep mode.
Right. Deleting apps.
Deleting
Yeah.
apps. And then the third thing that you can do is using accountability partners or tools.
So an accountability partner, really fast, is just somebody that's going to hold you accountable and not tell you what you want to hear when you overstep the boundaries you've set for yourself and told them about. And then there's tools like apps, like she said, or planners that you can get, from Walmart, um, that are used as to hold you accountable. You check your planner, you do the thing. You check your planner, you do the thing. Keeps you on track.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have to get into avoiding instant gratification, because again, this is um, a very tasty trap, a very very attractive trap for most people, especially most people that are learning the wrong habit
Mhm.
of leaning on motivation,
Oh, yes.
right? Because instant gratification can be a motivator and can be useful in that regard, but in moderation only.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if spending a lot of money on eating out all the time is not an issue for you because you make enough, or you and your partner make enough, whatever, then leaning on, like, okay, once I finish this, I'm going to go to my favorite food spot and get my favorite dish over and over and over again will create um, a false motivation, if you will.
Mm.
And although it may be useful like 3 times or so in a row, that fourth time is not really going to bring the same motivation, where your hormones will not release as much for the motivation because it's false, it's artificially applied. And you probably won't either get as far in the task, or you won't really get to it. You'll end up distracting yourself.
Mhm.
It's a very natural phenomenon that
Yes.
happens when you start to lean on, like, okay, I'm going to provide myself the instant gratification that I used to get as a kid, right? Again, mom or dad saying, if you know stop playing, stop doing whatever you want to do, come do this for me, and then I'll get you a donut, I'll get you, the ice
Your
cream.
favorite lemon papa seed cookie from Whole Foods.
Yeah,
That
trying
used
to
to be mine.
trying to recreate that scenario is a artificially applied motivation that is not sustainable. Something inside
Yeah.
of your spirit knows that it's fake,
Yes.
and so that's a big pitfall that you want to avoid. And then there's just the distraction of what will gratify you, that will be top of mind, versus the steps of the project that you're doing, or the steps or step of the actions that you're trying to take, like what's necessary, what to look out for, how to do it effectively, how to do it efficiently, and how to do it doing good work, and not just going through the motions, but doing a good job at whatever you're doing. You'll be distracted from all of those things with waiting for the gratification,
Hmm.
waiting for the
Oh,
moment of
why isn't
gratification.
this happening? I should be seeing the results. I know, like, especially with health goals, when you're trying to reverse any sort of chronic condition, you got to give yourself at least 3 to 6 months, because certain organs don't heal themselves faster than that, right? And it's always a dance of healing multiple organs, because most likely first thing that happened and you didn't even notice, your liver got overloaded, and then maybe your gut, and maybe some other aspects, maybe your blood sugar, so your pancreas. And it's going to take time. It takes time. So sometimes these things take so long, and then the mind chatters like, oh my gosh, I'm not making any progress. I gain more weight, or I feel creaky in my body again, even though it's the next day. And of course, every day you're gonna feel creaky again until you move it around. But whatever it is, it's gonna come with the challenge of the adversary within to overcome. And so when we are combating against this instant gratification, one of the things that we can do is kind of go through in your mind like a 5 point kind of framework. So there's a natural planning framework that your mind typically follows when it's going through anything. And if you really need to get yourself and work through a big challenge, you can go through this framework because it's natural for your brain to do it. So the first thing is to identify the purpose and your principles. So your why. Why is this important? What is the big thing that you're looking to accomplish? I mean, that you are uh, why is this important? What's your purpose? What are your parameters that you're not willing to walk outside of, right? So what are the values? Okay. Next, what's the outcome that you're looking to get? What's the result that you are looking to glean from this? Okay. And that's all kind of looped in whenever we talk about a freedom intention. Okay, that's the feeling that you want to embody, the emotion that you want to embody, and the observable, tangible result that you wish to achieve. Next, brainstorm. This is allowing for your mind to think of all the possibilities possible to get you to that outcome. From there, from the brainstorm, it's like this big messy thing, right? And then we can write down all the things that come to your mind. Now you can organize it because it's out of your mind and it's in some sort of external form, whether it is a note on your phone or pen and paper.
Yeah, planner.
Group the things, identify what is important, organize them according to priority, sequence them, whatever.
Yeah, and like we said earlier this week, if I can just piggyback on that real quick, is organize them or categorize them in terms of the days that they need to get done, not necessarily by the context of the projects alone. Because sometimes you'll work on, or often in your adult life, you'll work on multiple projects in a single day and you won't finish either any of them or you'll only finish a couple of them. And so when you categorize and you organize the brainstormed to-do list, when um, you can opt to put them in order of what you're going to do next, versus like, this is for this project and this is for this job and this is for this household activity, and keeping them separate. Because, and if your mind works like that, then that's fine. But if you're more like me, and more like Coach Tensi, then like you have to yeah, then you'll benefit more from just putting them in terms of what's the next thing that you have to do in that day or in those 6 hours or whatever, instead of just categorizing them by their context.
Yeah. So identifying what your next natural action. What's the next thing you can do right now? And that could be setting in a reminder for yourself if it takes more than 2 minutes to complete. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it right now.
Yeah.
To completion.
So that's pretty much all that we have for you guys today. Hopefully today's episode brought you some clarity, some joy, and some understanding. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, like the video, comment some takeaways, share it out to your friends and family, and notify yourself for when the next time we're going live so that you can meet us here. We will be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Looking forward to the Shine episode of this week. We've talked a lot about community. We talked a lot about self-improvement this week, and we'll probably continue that theme into tomorrow's episode, as tomorrow's episode is Shine, sharing honest, insightful, nourishing expressions. Sometimes you have to do that with yourself, not just the community. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, so put down in the comments one way that you're taking immediate action toward your goals, or maybe something that you're looking to build discipline in. And we can support each other. And I'd love to connect with y'all in the comments, whether you're watching the replay or live. We'll see you soon. And again, you can always connect with us with the link in our bio or that link tree, wherever it is. That's where you can find us. Take good care. Peace.